Hello and welcome to the Exchequer help video for moving stock codes, job codes and general ledger codes. For the purpose of this exercise I'm going to use the general ledger tree, but the practice is exactly the same on the stock tree and on the general ledger tree if you're wanting to move those codes. So I've got an example set up in here of some items that I'm going to move. There are a couple of things you need to consider when you're moving codes within Exchequer. The first one is that you need all users logged out of the system. And the second one is that you need a full backup before you go ahead with this. And the reason being is that it's not just moving that code within the tree, it's moving that code and all the data that goes along with it in the background. So it is quite a complex process happening in the background, and you just need to make sure you've got that backup should there be any problems with that move. There are two things that you can do. You can move those codes individually, one by one, or you can create a move list. You can actually create the move list whilst everybody is in the system and then move it at a later date once you've got everybody out of the system and you've got a full backup. So firstly, I'm just going to move an individual code. So to do that, if you right click on the code that you want to move and select Move From Pickup. At this point you get the little message that's saying, do you want to compile a list of everything to process later, or do you want to move the code individually? So I'm just going to select no to move the code individually, and what you'll see is that puts a little icon next to my cursor that looks like a sheet of paper. That means that there's a move in process at the moment. If you want to cancel that move at any time, you can just right click and select Cancel Move. We're actually just going to pick this up and move it into another folder, so I've right clicked and selected Pick Up. And then what you need to do is navigate to the folder that you want that to sit within. So I want that to sit within Buildings and Properties. You have to highlight the total line of that folder that you want it to sit within. Right click and select Move to Put Down. Now at this point it's giving me a warning just to ensure that I do have all users out of the system and I do have a full backup. So if we just tick the boxes here to agree to that and then select Yes. It'll create the object thread control at the bottom as it moves the code through, and you'll see now that that appears within the new folder that we've moved it to. If we want to create a move and generate a list, what we'll do is right click on the code that we want to move and select Move From Pickup, so that we get this little prompt again asking us if we want to compile a list. So this time I'm going to select Yes. And what this is doing is allowing us to do a move while users are in the system. It's not actually processing that move, it's just saving it to be done later. So if I follow the same process and navigate to the folder I want it to sit within, highlight the total line and select Move to Put Down. It's now given us a warning to say you're about to move this general ledger code into this folder, and it's telling us that this move is going to be added to the list of moves and we'll need to process that at a later date. If I select Yes to agree to that, you'll see that it starts building up this move list for you. I'm just going to move another one and put that down here. Again, it's asking us to add it to the list, so we're going to select Yes. So you can see we have both of those in the list ready to be processed. They do still exist within the motor vehicles folder because although they're in the move list ready to be processed, obviously we haven't processed that yet. Once you've built that move list and you're happy with it, bearing in mind you must be careful not to move something twice. Once you have everybody out of the system and you have a full backup, you'd come back into here and right click and select Move List. At this point it's going to show you the list of the moves that you have so you can view them, delete anything from them, edit anything that you need to, and then you'd hit Process. At this point again it's telling you that you must have everybody out of the system and you must have a full backup. If we select Yes, it's going to launch the object thread and it's going to move those codes for us. So if I just refresh that general ledger tree and go back in, we'll now see that we have all of our offices within the buildings folder on the general ledger tree. And everything that I've been through with you in the general ledger is exactly the same in the stock tree and the job costing tree if you want to move stock codes and job costing codes. So thank you for listening to my video today. If you've got any questions whatsoever, please don't hesitate to contact the support team here at HBP Systems.